It's time for the 2019 USA Archery US Open from Dairy Park Soccer Field in picturesque Dublin, Ohio, where over 500 archers came to compete for the title of US Open champion. Elimination matches are complete, and the shooting stage is set for 6 gold medal matches. Who will walk away with a gold medal draped around their neck? It's time to find out as Competition Archery Media's coverage begins right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a beautiful day here in Ohio. My name is Greg White, sitting alongside Crystal Govan, who's here to join me for this entire event. Crystal, it is a very interesting day. If we look at the skies, wind is blowing as we get ready for these gold medal matches. What do you think?
I'm excited. Can't wait to see. We're hoping the storms hold off and we'll get clear skies.
Yeah, so we have 6 gold medal matches that are going to be shot here today, but there were tons of things going on. Let's take a look at how it is going to, well, really play out, because the order is Recurve women first, Casey Kaufhold going up against Katuna Lorig. Big names in the sport, Crystal. And then on the Recurve men's side, we have Brady Ellison and Zach Garrett.
Then we have the Barebow women with Claire versus Melissa. Barebow men, John Demmer versus John Dillinger. So the battle of the Johns.
I like it.
Compound women, we got Toya versus Tanya, the battle of the foreign shooters. And compound men, Louis Price versus Matt Sullivan.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. As we've been here now, this is our 3rd day of competition, and we are looking forward to this. But the 3rd member of our team is PJ Riley, and he is with the president of USA Archery, Rod Menzer. Take it away, PJ.
USA Archery CEO Rod Menzer. Rod, let's start off. Tell us about the US Open and what it means to USA Archery.
US Open is basically the culmination of the entire year's events. This is, tagged on with the national championships. We take all the qualification rounds basically from the national champions and the national championship, and we put them into a head-to-head, and they shoot it off for the US Open title.
We're looking forward to that live here on the field, but let's recap the year. This is the last event in the USAT series. One more. Texas, yes. Tell us how the year has gone, because it's been a big year for USA Archery.
It is. It's been an incredibly busy year for the athletes and staff, everybody involved. But we've had a fantastic year. We literally have set attendance records at every single event that we've had this year. And looks like Texas is going to do the same thing. And, that's what more can you ask for, is to literally grow, continue to grow at every event. And, we've seen incredible shooting.
Speaking of the growth, let's talk about the health of USA Archery as an organization, because you've seen some growth there as well.
Absolutely. We are literally at record membership. We have record on instructors and coaches. We have a record level of clubs. So we're literally setting all of our records too as far as membership. And I think when you talk about events growing, the membership growing, it shows that we're doing the right things.
Speaking of doing the right things, we have a new feature here behind us. I don't know if the camera can see, but tell us about this little feature for the people who stuck around for the U.S. Open Finals.
Yeah, we wanted to just say thanks to everybody that attended. We actually have a little area with free, chips and salsa and some queso, and there is beer and cider available. So, yeah, everybody's going in there. They're enjoying themselves, and it's great. But we wanted to literally show the appreciation for everybody being here.
Well, all right, Rod. Lastly, tell us about, we're going into the Olympics next year, USA Archery. That's your big show. Tell me how you're feeling going into that.
I actually feel really good. It's nice. We've got, some good spots for both the Paralympic team as well as the able-bodied team. And I know we're going to get the other 2 remaining spots for both the men and women. And then I believe we're going to get some more para slots. So, it'll be an exciting year next year. The trials, this is the first stage of the trials. We had incredible shooting. I mean, absolutely incredible shooting, both on the compound and recurve side. But for the Olympics, I think we're going to have a heck of a team. We're running high.
That's awesome. Well, Rod, we appreciate it. We look forward to that. It's going to be a great U.S. Open Finals. Back to you, Greg.
All right, thanks, PJ. It's the USA Archery 2019 U.S. Open as we're setting up for Crystal. Now, before we head off to our first commercial break, why don't you describe how these gold medal matches are going to go down?
So these gold medal matches, we're going to see each archer only has 20 seconds to shoot an arrow. It's going to alternate between the archers back and forth. They're each going to shoot 3 arrows. The agents are going to go down with the judges and score the arrows, and then we're going to move on to the next end, and that's going to repeat a couple times till we have a winner.
Yep, and we'll have 2 different distances depending on your discipline. Recurve shoots at 70 meters, and compound archery shoots at 50 meters, and we're going to have different scoring systems as well. And we'll talk more about that as our coverage rolls on, but right now let's get to our first break, because when we come back, we're going to get things rolling from Dublin, Ohio. Don't go anywhere.
We don't build these bows to be different. We build them to be better. We're the outsiders, the mavericks, the fearless. We forge our own path. We're not chasing anyone, but we know what they're running from. It's an obsession, and the obsessed never rest.
Vince Lombardi once said, winning is not a sometime thing, it's an all-time thing. You don't do things right once in a while. You do them right all the time. Winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing. I've learned in my career I'm only as good as the tools I use.
12 for Levi Morgan.
One chance, one moment, one shot.
Get in the red zone. Carbon Express's small diameter Maxima Red SD, taking big game hunting to an all-new level, making other competitors' single spine arrows obsolete. Patented tri-spine technology controls arrow flight, delivering better downrange energy and accuracy, all in a small diameter shaft. Think you're shooting the best hunting arrow in the game? Think again. Stay in the red zone. Assume nothing and shoot Carbon Express.
The 2019 U.S. Open is brought to you by American Whitetail.
Welcome back to USA Archery's 2019 U.S. Open. We are ready for our first match of the day. Here's Chuck Cooley.
Welcome to USA Archery's 2019 U.S. Open. We are ready for the gold medal matches. Your line judges this afternoon are Jennifer Laux and Rich Cohart. In match number 1, Recurve women. From California, in lane number 2, Katuna Lorig. From Pennsylvania, in lane number 1, Casey Kaufhold.
All right, Crystal Gavin, so obviously the stage is set here. This is your class, I understand. You're not the happiest person on the planet at the moment, but some great shooting by both these athletes to get to this gold medal match.
Yeah, both of them have made a name for themselves this year. Katuna, obviously a veteran of the sport, 5-time Olympian. These two faced off against each other just last week at the Pan Am Championships. We saw Casey and Katuna shooting in the semifinals, where Katuna won that match. So this might be a little bit of a rematch. Casey wants some revenge.
First arrow ready to fly. Casey starts off with an 8. Now, Crystal, you mentioned it beforehand. There's a look at her target. 20 seconds to shoot each arrow. The moment the arrow impacts the target, the 20-second clock starts for the other athlete.
Correct.
Now we're in set scoring system as we watch Casey shoot. Tell us about that.
So set scoring means they're going to go down. The judges score the arrows for the 3 arrows that each archer shot. Whichever archer has the highest score for those 3 arrows will receive 2 set points. And if there's a tie between the archers, they'll each receive 1 set point, and it's first to 6.
So Katuna at the moment is 9-8. Casey Kaufhold 8-8.
9.
So a 9 for Casey. So if Katuna can shoot a 9 or better, she'll walk away with the first 2.
Correct. And a
10. Great shot from Katuna Lorig. Now Katuna's been around this sport for many years, hasn't she, Crystal?
Yeah, definitely. We have battle of the age ranges here. We have Katuna at 45 and Casey at just 15 years old.
Let's talk about Casey's ascent really into recurve archery. I mean, you know, it was only last year where she was at this tournament, and this is kind of a little bit of a thing. We actually have 2 tournaments going on at one time, right?
Yes.
We have the 2019 USA Archery National Outdoor Championships that were 2 days of scoring, and then that's a done deal. You get a gold medal for that, and so on. Then we take those scores, and they rank you, and then it was elimination rounds and the U.S. Open today. So Casey has won the Outdoor National
for the 2nd year running. So last year, this really was her breakout tournament. She shot well all last season, but this was the tournament she came out in the senior field, beat the entire field, winning the national championship and setting a national tournament record, which she ended up beating yesterday.
Unbelievable. So now, last year she finishes 3rd in this U.S. Open, now with a chance to win gold. So obviously, here in this gold medal match, it is gold or silver. So what you're really fighting for. So guaranteed podium appearance, guaranteed medal for these athletes. But it's to determine who's the winner as well. So for Casey, she does one better this year. And admittedly, Crystal, she's told me that she felt like the last couple months she just hasn't been shooting as well as she was this time last year.
Yeah, it's been a really tough season. I think for those that haven't gone through the international stage, the World Cup, tournament after tournament, all that travel can be very tough, especially, you know, a young archer coming up, their first season doing that. It's very taxing. You have to learn how to balance getting in the correct amount of shooting, but also getting enough rest.
Kaufhold with a 8-9 liner. So she started shooting first. Why?
So the archer that's trailing the match is going to be the one that starts each set.
All right, let's talk about the distance, Crystal. 70 meters, nearly 77 yards downrange. You know, watching it here on the screen, it, you know, looks far away, but it really is a poke down there, isn't it?
It is the size of the 10 ring. It's about the size of a softball, to put it in perspective, at 70 meters away.
And the wind is blowing. It was a bit of a tricky wind today, though, wasn't it?
It
here
was.
In Ohio?
Yeah, you have just enough, especially with these recurves, just enough to push those arrows left and right. We see their misses. And that, oh, beautiful.
Wow, so Casey Kaufhold putting the pressure on Katuna Lorig, just drills it in the middle. We call that one pretty much on the spider. There's just a little mark in the middle of that X-ring.
So we're all tied up 2-2 now, unofficially.
So again, for those that are watching for the first time with set scoring system, it's really an encapsulated score for each round, isn't it? Because it's not a cumulative score like we're going to see later on with compound. So it's like, okay, I lost that set. Let me go ahead and transition, and I have another chance. It's almost like you reset every end, isn't it?
Exactly. You can have a bad arrow, you can have a bad end, and it doesn't mean you're going to lose the match.
And for those that may be listening that are new to archery, every time we shoot a series of arrows, and then it stops, we score those arrows, and then pull those arrows and bring them back. It's called an end in archery. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about that, and that's really what defines us. There are competitions we shoot 3, like we are right now. In the normal qualifications, we shoot 6 arrows per end, 12 ends for 72 a day.
Great shot there of the judge taking a close look at that arrow of Katuna's, her agent marking all arrow holes must be marked in the target each end. And that means if there's a bounce out, if an arrow passes through the target, we're able to find the hole of that missing arrow.
So we're all tied up at 2 apiece. First to 6, the winner.
Yes.
Casey Caulfield looking on in front of an anticipating crowd. Now, we did have a schedule that was set a certain way. We were going to actually go with recurve senior women and men last. But Casey Caulfield has got to get on an airplane and head off to Spain to the Youth World Championships. It's like the crazy schedule for Casey.
Yeah, the thing is, at her age, not only is she shooting the senior circuit, but she's qualified for the cadet team. So I think it's 16 and under. So she's also shooting youth events. So she's really doubling up the schedule this year.
First arrow for Casey, a good 9. I mean, I think it's fair to say that when you're looking at recurve at 70 meters downrange with this wind, gold is the goal.
Oh.
That was even closer than Casey's last arrow from the last end.
And they're showing why they are in the gold medal match here.
I can tell you from the feeling that we just had here, because we are just on the range. I mean, basically, you know, I could throw my pen and hit Casey. We're so close. There was a big gust of wind that came through, and nice, great shot by Katuna. Is 20 seconds enough time on the clock to have to let it down and then draw it back again?
On the recurve side of the field, yes, you will see very rarely, but you can see it done. On the compound side, which we'll see later, it's really not an option.
A good look at the conditions we have at the moment as Katuna Lorig sets up for her final shot.
Ooh, so keeping things interesting.
Yes, because Casey definitely had a 10 and a 9 in that one.
So we're going to have to wait on scores here from the judges.
If they're tied on score?
1 point apiece. And we would be tied at 3-3.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see the judges calling the arrows.
So tell us what's going on here. You can see one person looks like they're talking, another person writing.
Yeah, so the two people in the red are the judges. One's calling arrows, one's scoring the arrows on the paper. The paper is the official scorecard. And then each archer has an agent that's going to mark the arrows and pull them out of the target and send them back.
All right, so it looks like it was 26 for Casey Caulfield and a 25 for Katuna Lorig. That means all of a sudden Casey Caulfield is now going to move ahead.
Yeah, so Katuna's arrow was called a 6, did not catch the 7 line. So 4-2 advantage to Casey, meaning Katuna's going to start shooting this match set.
So for the gold medal, the situation is if Casey Caulfield can win this end, she will have the gold medal.
So good 9 to start for Casey.
And by the way, a score has been updated. So at the moment, the score was changed. It's now 3-3. So it was indeed 26-26 on the last end. The computer just updated. And down on the targets, we can actually see a flipboard just behind that USA Archery sign. So it's 3-3 currently.
So that means Katuna's arrow was actually called up a 7.
Yep.
Not a 6.
Mm-hmm. You can see our scores are updated, lower left-hand part of your screen. Oh, 2 10s.
In these conditions, that's some excellent shooting.
And you hear a cheer from the crowd. Ooh, bit of English on that one.
Great
on the
group,
release.
though. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a 10-ring size group, just a little to the left.
So it looks like 999. Beautiful.
And that's all she needed. So Katuna's going to win this set. It'll now be 5-3, which means Casey needs to win the next set to bring it to a shoot-off and keep things alive.
I see. So if we go 5-5.
We get a shoot-off.
Gotcha.
My favorite thing ever.
Yeah, your favorite thing ever.
But if they tie the next set, that's all Katuna's going to need to win the match, 6-4.
All right, 10s times at the moment. Why, Crystal, do you love shoot-offs?
They're so fun for the spectator. It's one arrow closest to the center. New rules, unless they're both 10s, then we have to shoot a second arrow, but I still like to think of it as one arrow.
Mm-hmm. during your time. So what's unique about Crystal, obviously, is, or not obviously, but Crystal at one time was ranked number 2 in the world in compound women's archery. Decided, I mean, I hate to tell your story, Crystal, but I'm going to. Decided after the last Olympics that you wanted to chase Olympic dreams, and now I've been shooting recurve, and so we're well versed in the entire discipline of what we're going to see here, archery today. So one of the things you were known for in your compound days was the shoot-off arrows. You lost very few of those, I know that. All right, so here behind, 5-3, 15-year-old Casey Koffel to full draw, trying to stay alive. And that's
Nice
a great
10.
start. Beautiful start.
That's what she wanted. She wanted to put the pressure on Katuna.
Okay, so now 2-point advantage for Koffel. Drifting a little wide into the 7. Wow. Just off of that release, too, we got hit with a gust of wind. And the thing is, at 70 meters downrange, the wind that you feel here can be different down there. Oh, here's the pressure.
So 1 point advantage in this set for Katuna after 2 arrows.
Good.
Oh, I think it's just off the 10.
Gotta touch the line. You gotta break that line, and that would be the higher value on the ring. And you can see a little bit of yellow. So to us, it looks like a 9. But here
Yeah,
it goes.
you don't actually have to cross the line. You just have to touch it in order to score the higher value points.
Katuna for gold. And it looks like a good 9 for her. And the crowd applauds. We'll get confirmation, but it looks like Katuna Lorig is going to walk away with gold medal in the senior recurve women in the USA Archery's 2019 US Open. Scores coming in on the piece of paper.
And we got confirmation. 27-26. Katuna's going to win 7-3.
So this time, Katuna Lorig wins gold, and wisdom and experience win out over youth and exuberance. A congratulatory hug.
We see some words of wisdom there. Katuna really cares about her team and wants the women to do well, so great to see that.
Well, let's get right down to PJ, who's with our gold medalist.
Yeah, Katuna, great match there. Tell us how it went for you. It feels pretty windy out here.
Yes, I've been shooting in the wind before, very long time. It feels great. It feels good.
So you had to fight through today. Qualification, your ranking was a little bit lower than normal, but you fought through it in eliminations. Tell us how the day went for you.
Well, it was a lot lower than I expect, plus I'm very, very exhausted from international trips. I started slow this morning, but I finally got myself in concentration of each arrow each time, and then just stay positive.
All right, Katuna, congratulations, 2019 U.S. Open champion.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, and if she looks familiar to you, you may have seen those Bridgestone commercials during football or some other sports here in the U.S. Katuna. So gold medal for her. Casey Koffel will have silver. And once they do the award ceremony, Koffel is off to Spain. So congratulations to those two archers.
The 2019 U.S. Open in Dublin, Ohio is brought to you by Lancaster Archery Supply, leading the world in 3D and target archery.
Welcome back to USA Archery's 2019 U.S. Open here in Dublin, Ohio. Greg White with Crystal Govan. New target faces are being hung as we are getting ready for the Recurve Senior Men. And Crystal, we mentioned at the top of the show that this day at this moment looks totally different than we've seen so far this entire 3 days that we've been shooting. It's overcast, it's windy. From a recurve standpoint, how much would that affect the way you shoot?
So the sun versus the clouds can have a huge impact because as a recurve archer, you're lining up your string somewhere with your bow, with your sight, and how you see that string definitely changes in different lighting conditions.
All right, we're ready for our next match. Chuck Cooley.
Welcome to our second match this afternoon, the USA Archery 2019 U.S. Open. It's the Recurve men from Missouri. In lane number 2, Zach Garrett. And from Arizona, in lane number 1, Brady Ellison.
Quite a match we have set up for here, isn't it, Crystal?
Yeah, we have teammates from the Rio Olympics that won that silver medal together, now going head-to-head against one another.
You know, looking at Brady Ellison, this hasn't been the, I guess, the smoothest tournament for him. In talking with him, he said he's been fighting the wind a bit, and he's been trying to figure it out. You know, when we were here the first day, the wind was kind of, it went and it stopped, and it went and it stopped.
Yes.
Versus, would you rather have that or a consistent wind?
I mean, it's much easier if it's a consistent wind. You can pick your spot to aim, and you can just go with it. When it's going back and forth, you really have to pay attention arrow to arrow. It can be really tough, but sometimes that's what separates, you know, the cream from the crop.
Nice liner for Brady Ellison, who has been on fire lately, has he not?
Just set the world record last week.
All right, so in qualification rounds, we shoot 72 arrows into a 10 ring. So the highest possible score that you could get is a 720. The world record was 700 points with a recurve 70 meters downrange, and this guy right here broke it at 702. How incredible.
It just, as a recurve archer, I can tell you it's unfathomable. Only 18 arrows, or 18 points. That's assuming he had only 9s.
I think about how many compound archers at 50 meters with
haven't done that.
Haven't even shot 700, so it's a goal.
We definitely feel the wind picking up a little bit sitting here watching this match.
Yeah. Before this match, talking to Brady Ellison, he really thought that towards the later stages of this day, with a 10 for him, he had figured this wind out. He said he had a lot of confidence heading into this gold medal match. Seems like a long hold. For me, it seemed pretty like a long hold, didn't it?
Yeah, so Zach does tend to have a little bit longer of a shot, which could come into play here because, again, each archer only has 20 seconds from the time their opponent's arrow hits the target until they have to release the arrow. 20 seconds to get that shot off.
So from our vantage point, it looks like 29 for Ellison, 27 for Garrett. We'll get the official confirmation of that. Set scoring system. If you win the end, you get 2 points. Tie, split, 1-1. Obviously, if you lose, you get the goose egg. So, possibility Brady Ellison will go up 2-0 in this 2019 U.S. Open. That was the arrow. The last one that was pulled, that was really the question mark, wasn't it? If that was a 10 or not on the line for Brady Ellison.
And we see their agents walking back with the arrows. But these archers already have extra arrows in their quiver, so they're going to shoot 3 more arrows while they wait for the next arrows to come down.
Yeah, so make sure if you come to one of these tournaments, you have at least 6.
At least 6.
At least. Of course, you got to shoot 6 in qualification, but it definitely, you should have a lot more than that.
Funny story about that, my first ever Lancaster Classic. I had never been to a big tournament outside of local. It was indoor season. We only shoot 3 arrows indoors, and if you made it to the elimination rounds, you actually had to shoot 6 arrows. and I had 5.
Yeah, I think there's actually now, Crystal, a rule for that tournament. They should call it the Crystal Gobbin rule. That you're not even eligible to get into the finals in that tournament unless you have 6. Great first shot from Zach Garrett.
9.
Drifting just a little left. Spotting scopes allowed on the line. Zach Garrett choosing not to have one, but he has an agent behind him.
Yeah, some archers prefer their coach behind them just to tell them where the arrows are landing. They hear the score being announced over the PA, but other archers like to know exactly where that arrow is so they can make an adjustment.
9.
So both of those arrows on the left side for Brady.
So Crystal, you have, it's a sight that goes up and down that moves that circle that's got a little dot in the middle. In situation like this, okay, in this windy conditions, do you prefer to try to grab some clicks, meaning move it left and right, or would you rather aim off and explain that?
It really depends on the archer. Some archers feel very comfortable aiming off, and they can do it very precisely. Brady's one of those people. He can pinpoint, he can aim, 2 centimeters into that 9 ring or just off the 10 line, something like that. Other archers don't feel as confident with that, and they'll add some clicks in their sight, which will actually move their sight from end to end.
And what do you prefer?
I do a combination. It depends on what the weather is, how I'm shooting that day, how many clicks it would be. Because the problem is if you add too many clicks in your sight and all of a sudden the wind dies down, whoops, now what are you going to do?
Oh, yeah. We can hear the wind coming through some of our audio.
So Zach had a chance to capitalize, and on his last arrow shot an 8, opening the door for Brady. Just to shoot a 9 gave him tie for that set.
So it'll move to Brady Ellison 3 set points to Zach Garrett's 1. So Garrett hanging in there, an opportunity lost for Garrett at the moment as we go into our third end of competition. First 1 to 6 wins. If they tie at 5-5, we're going to 1 arrow.
Shoot off, shoot off.
Of course you want to shoot off. So does everyone here in the grandstands. The USA Archery moved in specifically for this finals field. And number 3 of competition in the Recurve Men gold medal match here at the 2019 US Open. Zach Garrett at full draw.
And again, he shoots first because he's trailing in this match.
Oh, good
nice
shot.
10.
Stony face too. Why is it in archery that you can't just smile when you shoot a 10?
Gotta look tough.
Look like a bit of an overcorrection. But honestly, Crystal, feeling what we're feeling here with the wind.
9s are...
Yeah, they're good, but at that moment, the wind had died down just a little bit. So maybe aiming off overcorrection.
And his is in that same area. He's catching a 9 also, but a little further out. But both archers had that high right 9. And
Good shot. And you can see from the flags flying that the wind is blowing across the field from left to right.
And I find left to right or right to left, the side to side wind, much easier to handle than the headwind and tailwinds with a recurve. Oh,
beautiful. And catching that 9-8 line, that's going to be a 9 value, so a 29 score for Zach Garrett.
Oh, smoked it.
Oof, that's what we call an answer.
Unfortunately for him, he had those 2 9s to start, so Zach's going to take that set and tie the match 3-3.
Yeah, we call that middle, the spider. There's a bunch of names for that one, including a great shot. If you've never shot recurve before, the ability to do that at this distance with wind is absolutely incredible. I mean, think about 77 yards downrange. We're talking about a poundage of a bow. We talk about that a lot in archery, how many pounds the archer is going to hold. On the recurve side, it's an actual number, meaning like, you have a bow, you have a string, and you pull it back, and as you're pulling back, right, it increases the poundage.
It's heavier and heavier and heavier.
So now you've been obviously at this now for 2 years, so what kind of poundage are you up to? Like, what range are you shooting now?
I'd say most top women are going to be in that 38 to probably 44 range is kind of a typical top woman poundage. These men we see here, they're going to be more 48 to 52.
Okay. And draw length makes a difference too in terms of velocity of the arrow. So longer draw length, not say a little bit of an advantage in terms of feet per second of the arrow. 4-2. Brady Ellison leads by 2. Zach Garrett just launched a 9.
So they upgraded Brady's arrow the last end, so it was not 28-29, it was 29-29. So that's why we see it's not 3-3 like we thought, it's 4-2. So all Brady needs to do is win this set to take the match.
But the way Zach Garrett's shooting right now, it is not an easy task for Brady Ellison. Wow. Arizona resident Ellison throws down another 10. Drifting wide for Zach Garrett. Turns out of the box with a head shake. He knows what's at stake and the possibility of what he just gave away. And there it is.
And there it is.
10-10.
Nice shooting by Brady. Perfect 30. Clinches the match.
I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you want to get out with a gold medal. Brady Ellison, perfect. 10-10-10 for 30. Hand in the air as fans applaud.
I'd love to know how many U.S. Opens he's won. I believe it was 12 or 13 yesterday, national championship titles.
National championship titles. And talking with him about the U.S. Open, 8-10, he said. So, yeah.
I knew it was up there.
The point that Brady Ellison made was, he hasn't won as many as he has the other one, but he did it today, PJ. And as they score these arrows, it's Brady Ellison. I mean, the face of men's recurve archery in the U.S.
All right, Brady, national champ and U.S. Open champ. Tell us about that, especially that 30 on the last end.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. The wind's been in a good direction. It's been a good direction all day, and there's some shots in there that I hit a little bit left on, but I knew that, that I just need to keep picking that same spot and that they're going to hit. And that last end, everything went the way I needed it to, and he gave me the 8 on the last arrow, which means I just needed a 9 to win it, and made things a little bit easier to shoot that last shot.
Were you correcting the whole time a little bit, or and you finally figured it out by that last end?
No, I was actually aiming the same spot the whole time. Just the one end, they didn't drift that much, but they were all, 9.8, they were all a quarter inch from the 10 line. So just keep that spot going. It's better to be left than right. In these things, if you're strong left and make a bad shot, it's going to be better than if it breaks in the middle and you make a bad shot. So just kept aiming hard on that left side and hope to hit.
All right, Brady, 2019 national champ and U.S. Open champ. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Crystal, the mental toughness is incredible. I mean, when you step up on the line and they're not hitting, but you're like, I'm confident in my shot. That's pretty incredible.
That's what separates Brady really from the rest of the field at this point, is his mental game is just so incredibly strong.
Unbelievable shooting here as Brady Ellison, your gold medal winner for the USA Archery's 2019 U.S. Open. Zach Garrett will stand on the podium with a silver medal. Congratulations to those archers.
This is how we like to do it.
USA Archery's 2019 U.S. Open is brought to you by the Easton Foundations.
Welcome back to Dublin, Ohio. We are set for another gold medal match and a fan favorite. Chuck?
Good afternoon and welcome to our third match of this afternoon. This is the Barebow women's competition. It'll be a Texas shootout in lane number 2. Melissa Tenen. And in lane number 1, Claire Z.
Well, Greg White with Crystal Govan. Crystal, Claire Z has been shooting for about a year. It's her first outdoor national tournament. And is such an incredible story. 34 years old, mother of 3, her husband's here, kids here, and just an absolutely incredible story. Very confident in her shot and knew from being at home. Now, this is the thing about Claire Z that was interesting. Knowing her scores at home, she felt like she could come here and shoot really well. So one of the things that we're changing from what we had before is the targets have been moved, and now we're at 50 meters.
But same target size that they're aiming at.
Same target size. This is Barebow. Let's talk about Barebow, Crystal. What are they shooting?
They're shooting the same type of bow as we saw. It's still long limbs. It's still a recurve style bow, but they're not allowed to have a sight. They're not allowed to have the big long stabilizers we saw. There's a lot of equipment they're not allowed to have. Very strict rules.
And these are the types of things that you will see with Barebow. This is not a game of gold, gold, gold.
No.
This is not. This is a game that moves up and down, and it's really about hitting that target and getting the closest to the center. What a shot from Claire Z. Now, Claire actually just graduated yesterday, if you can believe that. I mean, she was here, but she graduated yesterday from paramedic school.
Wow.
Saying that archery and being a paramedic have similar levels of stress, and actually being a paramedic helps her deal with the stress of this big competition.
I believe it.
Yeah.
There's no life and death on the line here. And both of these archers from the same club in Texas, so battle of friends here, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. So interesting, because you can see Claire is looking for cues from the judges, because this is her first experience at a national level. And so what she had to deal with, obviously, is qualification rounds. Then she had to deal with elimination rounds, which are 2 minutes to shoot 3 arrows at a time, 5 times, so 150 points available. And, you know, so anyway, different competition. Now all of a sudden you find yourself here at the finals field, and you're going like, wait a second, what do I do?
When am I allowed on the line? When do I step off the line? When do I shoot? What do I do?
20 seconds per arrow. So, yeah, so
But great experience. You see her coach there, Rick. He's done this for years, and so definitely helpful for her to have him behind her and really coaching her along. Probably not so much with the archery, but really helping her know when to do what.
So, no sight, all that you're talking about. How do you aim, Crystal? How do you aim a Barebow?
I'd love to know. No, a lot of them use the arrow point. The finger tab, so how their fingers are placed on the string, they can change that positioning. There's different rules on that. But ultimately, you have to find a system that's going to work for you inside the rules, and you just have to go with it.
Add to that a strengthening wind here in Ohio, just north of Columbus, as we set up for our second end of competition.
We talked about her age earlier, and we talked about Casey and Katuna earlier, the widespread ages, and archery really is a sport for all ages. You see young kids out here competing, older adults out here competing, and everyone can have the same experience competing head-to-head on this shooting line.
8 and 7 so far for Melissa Tennant. Claire Z, 9-8. Confident. I mean, just looks dialed in.
So you see, unlike the recurvers that anchored, so you saw their hand placed under their jaw to look in the sight, these archers are going to be up on their face because, again, they're using the arrow point and things to aim. Great end. I mean, that's with a Barebow. She just beat a lot of our recurvers we just saw out there with that.
Unbelievable. 122 centimeter target face.
50 meters.
At 50 meters with a stick and a string, basically.
Yep.
These are sophisticated bows, obviously, that they're shooting. Any one of these bows that these archers are competing with has the ability to take on extra equipment that you could turn into an Olympic-style recurve
Exactly.
bow.
So it looks like she's going to go 4-0.
So Claire Z, at the moment before we got into official scoring, is 2-0, but with that incredible score that she just put up, 26-21 that end, and just like that, Claire Z goes up 4-0 at the moment.
So again, as we talked about earlier, 6 points to win. So all she needs to do here is win this next set, and she takes home the gold. Melissa, on the other hand, needs at least a tie to stay in this match.
Claire Z, of course, our national champion from the 2 days of competition, our #1 seed heading into elimination rounds.
Wait. So you're telling me she came out here, first ever national level tournament, and she already won nationals.
Yes.
And she's got a chance to win the gold here.
Yeah, that'd be double gold.
Wow.
Yep.
I believe I know someone else that won double gold this weekend.
Welcome, Claire Z, to USA Archery competition. But let me tell you something. Melissa Tennant is not wanting to give it to her easily. Barebow's so much fun, though. The crowd ends up so interactive. Ooh.
Yeah, we always joke that Barebow shooters have the most fun of any division out there. They're always laughing. They're having a great time. A lot of times they have costumes at tournaments that they organize, and they really act as a unit, as a team. They don't act as competitors head-to-head. They just really, truly love the sport.
Another great shot from Claire Z. Coming from the world of pistol shooting, she actually decided to try archery to get relaxed a little bit from pistol shooting, and family encouraged her to give it a try. Great shot. Crowd exploding for Melissa Tennant. This could be the arrow, though, that seals it up. The release and an 8.
So 9-8-8.
I think maybe that it was that 5. I think, was it a 5 or a 6 from Melissa?
We're going to have to wait for confirmation of the scores here.
What an unbelievable story Claire Z is if she can pull this one off.
So unofficially, we have a 9.88 and a 9.96.
And we wait for the judge's confirmation. And indeed we do. So
Judge has singles. And we just saw a great look on her face.
So Claire Z just found out, because this is her first time, judges stand down at the target and they'll indicate one side or the other the national champion. And she had to look at her coach to say, what was that?
Her jaw just dropped. She didn't know what to do.
There you go. First time at a national competition. Double gold medal winner Claire Z, your Barebow women's gold medalist, and will stand on the top of the podium again. And congratulations to the silver medalist, Melissa Tennant, as well. Oh, man. This has got to be just something else, huh, PJ?
Absolutely, Greg. She just said she's still shaking, so congratulations, Claire. Tell me about that final. This is a first for you.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know what I was thinking. I just focused on my shooting. And it's pretty windy. I don't have such experience, so I just tried my best.
You were circling right around that gold, though, most of them in there. I mean, you had to feel good about your shooting.
I don't know. I can't see them. I can't believe it.
Well, all right, Claire, congratulations. National champ and U.S. Open champ.
Thank you.
34-year-old Claire Z from Houston, Texas. The pride of Houston, Texas today in Barebow competition. Congratulations to her. What a match. And there it is. Oh, man. Something that everyone can pick up a Barebow, huh, Crystal?
Yeah, I can't pick up a Barebow, I can tell you that. I give mad props to these these archers out there.
We'll be back with more.
Vince Lombardi once said, winning is not a sometime thing. It's an all-time thing. You don't do things right once in a while. You do them right all the time. Winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing. I've learned in my career I'm only as good as the tools I use.
12 for Levi Morgan.
One chance, one moment, one shot.
We don't build these bows to be different. We build them to be better. We're the outsiders, the mavericks, the fearless. We forge our own path. We're not chasing anyone, but we know what they're running from. It's an obsession, and the obsessed never rest.
The 2019 U.S. Open in Dublin, Ohio is brought to you by First String Bowstrings.
All right, welcome back to USA Archery's 2019 U.S. Open. And there's more archery lined up right now.
Welcome to match number 4, the USA Archery 2019 U.S. Open. This is Barebow men's gold medal match. In lane number 2 from Utah, John Dillinger. And in the first lane from Pennsylvania, John Demmer.
Okay, so the crowd, Crystal, just said, "Let's go, John." Yeah, they're both Johns.
Makes it easy.
It makes it really easy. And this is a match of heavy hitters, to say the least. John Demmer, the de facto standard, I guess you could say, in Barebow senior men. But Dillinger, on the other side of it, he picked up a Barebow off of a compound about 5 years ago. He won this U.S. Open 2 years ago, lost it last year, looking for some redemption. I mean, this is, in talking with Dillinger, he was like, I have too many silver medals.
Yep.
To Demmer.
Yep.
Demmer starts
now,
off with an 8.
We talked about some costumes. We see some interesting attire with Demmer. But Demmer really has made Barebow fun, and in my opinion, he's the reason Barebow has really exploded here in the U.S. He's got the kids excited about it. He's got the older adults excited about it. He makes people want to shoot Barebow. And we see it in the numbers. The classes have just continued to grow.
Yeah, they certainly
the last
have.
couple of years as he's helped push for this and encouraged, he brought a woman named Fawn to World Field Trials, and she went, made the team, goes over to Italy, and wins the whole thing.
Unbelievable. There's a look at Demmer. And yeah, the thing on his nose is to protect his nose. Dillinger. 8 on the 8-7
solid group,
line.
just low and to the right.
So with Barebow, set scoring system, not cumulative. We're getting to that after the next couple matches. Target set at 50 meters, somewhere in the neighborhood of 55 yards, about 54.7 by my rangefinder crystal, on 122 centimeter target face. And what that means is the entire scoring rings are 122 centimeters, which also means that the 10 ring is going to be 12.2. Did you know that?
It's about the size of a softball. That's what I
know. There you go. All right, so we'll get official scoring. Now, you can see that.
So early 2-0 lead for Demmer.
Yep. And that's a flip chart that's available, so that way the crowd knows, as well as competitors. We use flip charts out on the field as well when we're going through deep into our elimination rounds. If you're going from 64 down to 32, down to 16, down to 8. When you get around that 16 range, we start to use those flip charts to indicate what score, who's up. Do you like that? Do you like letting people know what's going on in your bail?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Especially if you're leading, put some pressure on some people. All right, so crowds go up again for John. We're not sure who they're cheering for, but we know it's one of these two.
And Dillinger's going to shoot first because he is trailing in this match.
Beautiful shot.
What these guys do is just, it's incredible. I know last season, Indoor Nationals, I was super excited with the score that I shot until I saw Demmer had beat me by 2 points with a Barebow. Same distance, same target, same everything.
Yeah, with nothing, no stabilizers, no aiming tools, crazy.
Oh.
Ooh. So that one drifted just on him. A 9 would have been a little bit more confident here, but if Demmer can drill a 10, we're all tied up. All right, so a little left, yep, a 7.
And just made a quick turnaround to his coach, asked where those arrows were. So I expect to see a correction on the next one.
Big arrow, unbelievable.
Wow.
Getting closer and closer to the center for Dillinger.
So this is a freebie arrow for Demmer. He can't win the set, so he's just going to want to put an arrow downrange, and that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to get the confidence back.
So that shot you just saw by John Demmer, middle of your screen right there, a confidence shot. Making sure that he and his coach in the coaching box, the decision that they made to make an adjustment has worked.
But look at those two. Oh, and they're both X's. Wow.
Unbelievable. Now the wind, it's still tricky.
It's just enough to be annoying.
Yeah. You know, we're out here in these soccer fields with a little bit of a grassy knoll on the backside, and the way the wind comes in just feels different when you're on the line versus where it is on your target.
Yeah, and the archers are going to be a little sheltered from the wind, what they're feeling on their body. The way the finals venues a lot of times are set up, here included, you have the stands on one side, you have the scoring tent on the other, so the archers are actually blocked from the wind, but their arrows are not. So it can be kind of tricky when you don't feel any wind on yourself, but you know you really got to pay attention to those wind flags. There's an American flag that can be a good resource. You want to use anything out there to determine where you need to aim.
A 28 by Dillinger ties things up. A 28 out of 30 points available in a gold medal match. Not easy to do fighting nerves, let alone with a Barebow fighting wind and distance.
So solid 9 to start.
Mm-hmm.
And we see because the match is tied up, Demmer gets to go first because he was the one who started the match. Oh,
wow.
Next. They make it look so easy. Again, a lot of people can't do what they're doing with a recurve, so this is just incredible shooting.
There's
matches it with another X.
Demmer got after it pretty quickly on that one. Just dropped it low. So this could take us 4-2. If he can get a 10. 9. Okay, so
it looks like it's going to be a tied set.
So we'll split points. It should go 3-3. We'll wait for official scoring, obviously. Demmer and Dillinger. Dillinger's been shooting 25 years. He's 47 years old, Crystal. And, you know, when I asked him, you know, why did you put the compound bow down after so many years, 20 years shooting compound bow? He said, I just wanted a change. And some change has been for him.
Yeah, he was actually part of the world field team as well last year in Italy. So both of these two were teammates.
Leading up to, he's a self-proclaimed computer nerd. He's a programmer, is John Dillinger. And when I was speaking with him about, you know, how he gets his shots in, does he have overtime or whatever, he said no. When he is heading towards a tournament like this one, he'll shoot every day and he'll work his schedule so he can work that shooting in. When he's not shooting, if he doesn't have a goal immediately, he tries to shoot 3 times a week just to keep the body, you know, in a line, keep it fresh. All right, so 3-3 all tied up. 1st to 6 wins.
Yeah, so what a lot of people don't realize is these archers out here competing have full-time jobs, are students, you know, they have lives outside of archery. It's not like archery is all that they do. So it's definitely can be hard to balance family, work. So 1 point lead after 1 arrow.
8. Drifting left on that one for Demmer. Still a 1-point advantage for Dillinger.
And just look at that wind whipping through his shirt.
Well, he played it really well.
So an 8 to tie the set, a 9 or better is going to give the set to Dillinger.
Quick shot at 9.
Nice. Good shot.
He must have had a great aiming spot and just wanted to get that thing down range.
So unofficially it should be 5 to 3 after this set.
1st to 6 wins. So even. So basically Dillinger has 2 opportunities. If it becomes 5-3, Dillinger's going to have 2 opportunities next end, won't he? He can either win outright and he'll go 7, or they can tie it and he'll go to 6.
Exactly, but the pressure's not off. He knows he knows Demmer can put a 30 down there, so he's going to want to make sure he makes 3 good shots. Because otherwise, if Demmer wins the next set, we get a shoot-off.
Which Crystal's just dying for.
If we make it through the whole day without one, I'm going to be pretty sad.
All right, so 5-3, confirmation. Dillinger over Demmer, looking for some redemption from last year.
So Demmer's going to start the match as the trailing archer. And we're cheering for Jared. I'm not sure who Jared is.
I'm not sure who Jared is either. But we know there's a couple Johns on stage going after a gold medal in the 2019 U.S. Open.
9.
Right in the middle, just a little low.
Also a little low, but a little lower.
Little lower, yeah. We'll see if that 1 point is the difference.
So another 9, so good start for Demmer. Oof.
Ooh, same spot.
So Demmer just needs a solid shot here, and he's going to take this set, and we're going to get my shoot off. Oh, and I think it's a 10. On the edge of my chair. I'm excited.
And a 10.
So good finish. That's what he's going to want going into that shoot off. They both had that 10.
Yeah.
He's going to be happy.
And you can see these two shooters very familiar with each other, so a little fist bump, and how they're going to play it. All right, Crystal, you kind of touched on it before.
Shoot off, shoot off.
All right. So what's a shoot off look like? How does it work?
So each archer's going to have the normal 20 seconds to shoot, but they're only going to shoot 1 arrow instead of 3 arrows. So 1 arrow, Demmer's going to go first. He's going to shoot his. Then it's going to go to Dillinger. We're going to walk down range with the judges. And it's going to be closest to center unless they both shoot 10s. And then we get shoot off number 2.
Okay. Wow. A single arrow shoot off with a Barebow. It's so crazy. But with the way these two are shooting, I wouldn't put it past them at all to have to go to a second arrow.
Exactly.
So 28 scored versus 26. So confirmation of that. We go to a tie. All tied up at 5-5. And we talked about this at the beginning. 2 heavy hitters going at it.
Yeah, I mean, both of these two won it.
Yeah, and both of them are actually excited about it.
Yeah.
And that's the way you should be. Both of them giving each other kind of fist bumps, so here we go. Closest to the center, unless they're 10s, and then we're going to a second one. So Demmer is going to set the tone for the shoot-off. Boom!
Oh, just off the X.
I tend to keep this alive.
Oh,
9. Oh, and there it goes.
So close.
So
Great
it is
shooting.
John Demmer, your national champion for the U.S. Open and gold medalist. Unbelievable. As we go to that shoot-off, was it everything you were hoping for, Crystal?
It was. It truly was. I mean, that first shot Demmer put down there was just off that X ring. You can see it there. Oh, it might have actually caught.
Unbelievable. So let's see what John Demmer had to say, huh, PJ?
Well, John Demmer, that's the way the crowd likes to see it. Barebow to a 1 hour shoot-off. Tell me about it.
Oh, it's crazy. That's 2 years in a row it's gone to a shoot-off. 10-9, I believe, on both of them. It's crazy. It's pretty awesome.
So tell me about that. That was a seesaw match. How did you keep it together? Your last arrow is a 10.
It's tough. It's tough holding out there. It's not a lot of wind back here, but it's enough to, with no stabilizers on there, that it's hard to keep it on there. So a lot of it's just chance.
Just chance. Come on. I mean, you pulled the 10 out when you needed it.
Just chance, a little bit of chance and a lot of aggressiveness, yeah.
And you and Dillinger, you guys shoot together all the time. Tell me what it's like to go against him in that shoot-off.
It's quite a common occurrence that we're going head-to-head. It just feels right. It's a good match. It's always a good match. We always usually shoot pretty well, so that part's fun.
All right, John. Well, congratulations, U.S. Open champ and yesterday national champ.
Thank you.
Yeah, Crystal, some impressive scores put up by both archers in this one, including a 28 score end for John Dillinger in 2 and a 28 score end in end number 5 for John Demmer, who forced it. So, outstanding shooting for Barebow senior men. John Demmer, your gold medalist. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to change target faces to an 80-centimeter target and get to our compound shooters. Hang tight.
Get in the red zone. Carbon Express's small diameter Maxima Red SD, taking big game hunting to an all-new level, making other competitors' single spine arrows obsolete. Patented tri-spine technology controls arrow flight, delivering better downrange energy and accuracy, all in a small diameter shaft. Think you're shooting the best hunting arrow in the game? Think again. Stay in the red zone. Assume nothing and shoot Carbon Express.
USA Archery's 2019 U.S. Open in Dublin, Ohio is brought to you by Easton Archery.
All right, welcome back to USA Archery's 2019 U.S. Open. It's time for our penultimate match of the day.
Good afternoon, everybody. Match number 5, USA Archery's 2019 U.S. Open. This is the compound women's gold medal match. In lane number 2, from Denmark, Tanja Jensen. And in lane number 1, from Arizona, Toya Ellison.
All right, Crystal, so we are set for this one, and there's some other things that were going on this weekend other than qualification rounds. There were mixed team rounds that anyone can sign up for, and these two that we're going to see in this finals actually shot together on a team that they deemed Team Green Card.
Yep,
and they
along with Linda Ochoa Anderson.
Yeah, right, exactly. Very funny, so friendly, the women that are shooting together. They did win silver, in talking to Toya before, about today. She was like, well, yesterday we needed a little bit of work. We're working on it. I'm like, oh, this is something you're going to do again. And she's like, definitely. All right, so here we are, compound archery, 50 meters. From where the archers stand to the target, it's an 80-centimeter target face, so smaller than the targets we've seen so far.
So same distance as Barebow, but smaller target.
About 3.125 inches, the 10 ring. First to shoot. Unbelievable shooting from Toya Ellison this weekend.
Yeah, back-to-back 706s with this wind.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and you can see that is unusual. I mean, we're talking about the possibility that she broke a world record. Ooh. Tanja Jensen, both of them having to deal with it. So what we're seeing here is with stabilization, these long stabilizer bars, it also, yes, it helps to stabilize, but also when you catch wind, can it?
Yeah, and unlike the recurve with the set system, this is cumulative score, so if you have a bad arrow, it can cost you the match.
Yeah, and the other side of that is if you see your competitor have a bad arrow, you want to jump on it. And if you don't capitalize, it's like broken heart for a moment. Ellison starting to get it figured out.
So 10-9 liner on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wait for that call. For us, I think it looks like a 9.
Ooh.
A lot of English on that one from Jensen.
So my guess is a little bit of gust probably hit her right as she was about to release.
Mm-hmm. In the box for Tanja Jensen is Braden Galantine. In the box for Toya Ellison, this dude.
Who is he again?
It's a Brady Ellison. He's won a few. Gold medalist here.
Not sure who he is.
Yeah, her husband. So good advice coming from across the board. Of course, on the Tanya Jensen side, you have Braden Gelantine, who is the most medaled, I guess, archer in world archery competition.
World #1. Holds the world record for the 72 arrow round.
Bronze medal, I think, in Peru, right?
Silver medal.
Silver medal, sorry. So, Braden, sorry when you hear this. So, yeah. A lot of talent sitting on this field right now. What's interesting about Tanya Jensen is I actually got to shoot on the field with her today, like next to her today. We weren't shooting on the same bale, but at the same time, same line. She was right behind me. Is the speed of which Tanya Jensen likes to shoot. I'm a quick shooter, and she was always off the line before I was. And I asked her about that. I'm like, is this a race? And she goes, I don't know. If it sits and it works, I just want to get rid of the arrow. Just want to get rid of it. Get on to the next arrow.
She was one of the first women in history. I think she was the third to shoot a perfect 900 in Vegas. So she is very calm, collected under pressure.
Ellison.
It's going to start the match.
Yep. You can see cumulative scoring. So Jensen leads by a point. You see the movement in the bow. A tricky wind dropping low in an 8.
So she's now dropped as many points in this match as she did entire qualification either day.
Unbelievable.
So that just shows you what changing conditions can do, a little bit of nerves in the finals of the field, and really can make it tough on these archers.
9. We've been here really, Wednesday started official practice, and then we qualified Thursday, Friday, and then eliminations all day today, and it is without question the windiest it has been. You can see the look on Tanya's face.
We're used to these women shooting 10, 10, 10. And to see these, in the yellow, some in the red, this just is not what we're used to seeing.
Good shot,
but good 10 there for Toya. She's going to be happy to end the set with a 10.
One way we denote a compound bow, too, is great shot. One way that we denote a compound bow is going to be what we call axle to axle. And that is, as you can see, would be the axle that's holding on the cams. What's the distance? And so for these women, shooting 38-inch, 40-inch axle to axle bows sitting out in the wind, that's more of a windsock, I guess you could say, isn't it, Crystal?
Yeah, but if we compare that to a recurve, which we saw earlier, and it's much shorter. So those wheels on the bow are going to mean they're holding a lot less weight at full draw, which is something a lot of people talk about in the wind. So a recurve is much longer, you're getting blown around, the bow's getting blown around, but you're holding so much more weight, you're able to steady things. Whereas with a compound, some of these archers are only holding 15 to 20 pounds when they're at full draw trying to aim in this wind. So the bow may not get blown around as much, but they feel it. So 2-point lead for Tanya.
When you were ranked at the top of the world in compound archery, what was your strategy when you were shooting all over the world in different countries, different conditions? What's your wind strategy with a compound bow?
I loved the wind because I live on top of a hill. It's always windy, and I knew that I could dominate when it was windy. I used a little bit of a bubbling strategy along with aiming off if I needed to, if it was super strong. But in this kind of tricky wind, I would just bubble a little left, a little right, just enough to put my arrow in the middle. So as we talked about, you notice these archers take a little bit longer. They're really fine-tuning their aim versus the recurve and the Barebow that got super quick shots off.
And oftentimes you see that. We call that the English. It's like when the shot breaks, when the release goes off, if it's not exactly where you want it to be, even though the arrow's already gone, you're still trying to fight it. Oh,
nice 10 there for Toya.
Just a fantastic release, too. You can just see the rhythm for that particular moment was there.
That was a much better shot. You could see it.
And that is her normal rhythm for Tanya Jensen. Oh, big gust. That is moving around a lot.
And again, they only have 20 seconds, so not enough time to let that down. And she gets a 10.
Unreal. Wow.
So that just shows the strength Toya has to be able to hold the bow steady, let that gust pass, and then fire the shot.
And she answers. So Tanya Jensen answers on that one. Yeah, you know, you talk about the strength for Toya Ellison. She spent the last month back home in Slovenia and was hanging out. She said she kind of detoxed from social media. She was able to work out, go to the beach, and just really gain some strength back and some energy back. And, you know, she just had such a great attitude as she rolled into Ohio for this tournament. And wow, it is really showing.
Yeah, so Toya's been doing all the international stuff just like Tanya, but Tanya's been adding in the 3D circuit this year, and so she's been shooting some foam animals, mixing it up a little, but that means she's been away from home on the road a little bit more than what we've seen for Toya.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Toya from Slovenia, but lives in Arizona now with her husband, Tanya
And
Jensen.
they actually split time in California with the training center there, so.
As for Tanya Jensen, her boyfriend, Braden Gellantine, lives in Massachusetts, so she splits time between, you know, her time in Europe and Massachusetts and on the road.
And I know she's heading home for about a month after this, and I know she's very excited just to go home, and rest up for a little bit.
Yeah, USA Archery has one more tournament this season, but for a lot of archers, the season's pretty much wrapping up because a lot of archers are also hunters, and we roll into hunting season. But for this USA Archery gold medal match, the 2019 U.S. Open on the line, cumulative scoring, Tanya Jensen leading Toya Ellison.
So keeping the 2-point lead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was kind of waiting. I was like, well, I jumped the gun a little bit on that one, but holding on to the 2-point.
So very surprising there to see Toya with an 8 again in this match. Uncharacteristic for her. We're used to seeing her just pound the 10 ring.
Oh man, that's a great shot of the movement on that bow.
So Tanya's going to pick up a couple more points there on that arrow.
I mean, that's the thing with this wind, if she can kind of keep it steady at this point. And a 9.
So you see she's kind of circling around. That shows you how tricky these conditions are. She really having trouble to fine tune where she needs to aim. And oh, Tanya throws it right back with an 8.
Yep, and that's what cumulative scoring will get you. You're never totally safe.
No, when you get a little bit of a gap, you want to put your foot on the pedal and just push that thing straight to the floor.
Now, Crystal, do you think, as Tanya Jensen seems to be a very quick rhythmic shooter, when you get into conditions like this and you have to hold a lot longer, you know, how does that affect the way that you go through your shot process?
It can be tricky. I know I was a quick shooter as well, and it can be tough up there because you're used to knocking an arrow and just firing it, and especially if your competitor is a little bit of a slower shooter, you're sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting for them to shoot when you want to just be shooting. And you got to wait out those wind gusts. And so it's really key that you focus on the very end of your shooting process and really repeat that every single time.
Yeah, normally in qualifications, you just have 6 arrows. You shoot them on your own. You have a clock of 4 minutes, or in elimination, you're going to shoot 3 arrows with a clock of 2 minutes. It's defined by your rhythm. Here, on this finals field, it's 20 seconds per. 3-point lead for Tanya Jensen as Toya Ellison goes back to full draw. Dealing with this wind, lets that one sail and drifted to the right.
And similarly, if you're a slower shooter and you're used to a little bit more time between arrows, if your competitor shoots quick, you don't have a lot of time. You gotta knock your arrow faster. You gotta speed up your process because again, your clock starts as soon as their arrow hits the target. So you only have the chance. You don't have 20 seconds to rest. You have however long it takes your opponent to shoot their arrow to rest.
Mm-hmm. Oh, unbelievable.
She's putting on a clinic now.
Mm-hmm. Here we are, the final end of competition.
The last arrow. And a 7. Wow.
I think that's going to be enough, though.
Yep.
And a congratulatory hug from Toya Ellison to Tanya Jensen, who, even though she just needed to hit paper,
Well, she hit paper. Did what she needed to do to clinch that match, 137 to 131.
Outstanding shooting in very tricky conditions. And so, Tanya Jensen with PJ.
Tanya, congratulations. Tell me about shooting in that wind.
Honestly, there's a lot less nerves than normally. Because normally you're trying to shoot 10s, and today you can't control anything. You can shoot an amazing shot and it can still be an 8. So you're just kind of trying. Okay, it's somewhere near the yellow. Shoot.
So I was watching your bow. Your bow was moving pretty good, but you were hitting X10s. I mean, tell me about that.
So I sped up my release a lot before coming in here because I'm like, it's gonna be super windy. I don't have time to do the normal like pull nice and slow. So I still, pull it where it's going, but I want to be able to do it in like half a second.
Gotcha. Well, it seemed to work. Congratulations, 2019 U.S. Open champ.
Thank you. It's awesome.
She said it. It is awesome. It is awesome. And what a match. Could be very unpredictable. Toya Ellison put up a great fight in tricky conditions. As we look at her shooting form, what's your summation of that match?
Not what I was expecting.
Yeah, definitely not. And I think that Tanya said it all. It's just in the gold and let it fly. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back to the field here in Ohio, we'll have our final match of the 2019 U.S. Open.
In the red zone, Carbon Express's small diameter Maxima Red SD, taking big game hunting to an all-new level, making other competitors' single spine arrows obsolete. Patented tri-spine technology controls arrow flight, delivering better downrange energy and accuracy, all in a small diameter shaft. Think you're shooting the best hunting arrow in the game? Think again. Stay in the red zone. Assume nothing and shoot Carbon Express.
USA Archery's 2019 U.S. Open in Dublin, Ohio is brought to you by Hoyt. Get serious. Get Hoyt.
The final match for the USA Archery 2019 U.S. Open is on deck.
Welcome to the final match of the day, U.S. Archery 2019 U.S. Open. This is match number 6, the Compound Men's Gold Medal Match. From Nevada, in lane number 2, Matt Sullivan. And from New York, Louis Price.
Well, Crystal, I'm Greg White, Crystal Gobbin here as we get ready for this match. not the largest household names in archery that we have seen, you know what I mean, in years, but Matt Sullivan, unbelievable on the U.S. national team. And Price, he might be a, first-timer for a lot of people out there.
Yeah, but he's nothing to cough at. He has been dominant this entire tournament. Both days of qualification he led by significant margins. And Matt Sullivan, World Cup team member, has just been on fire the last 2 years. What wind? What pressure?
Unbelievable. Now this guy right here, he knows pressure. He drifts it just a
I
little
think it's
bit.
just off.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for those at home not used to archery scoring, the arrow must touch the line to get the higher scoring value.
You can see some movement.
Another X?
I mean, it looked like for a moment, too, that it dipped just as he released it, and it just went right where it needed to go.
9.
Cumulative scoring. Every point matters in this competition.
And for the first time all day, we see Louis out there shooting by himself. No coach in the coach's box. No spotting scope even, so he has no idea where his arrows are going. All he can tell is what is being announced over in terms of score value.
So it looks like 999 for Matt Sullivan and a 10-10-9 possibly for Price. Crystal, with what you just mentioned about Price and no spotting scope, no coach, how risky is that? Have you ever put yourself in that position?
No, I never would, but it's what makes you comfortable. And obviously that's standing up there on the line and just shooting the arrows is what makes him feel comfortable. You know, maybe that makes him not feel like he's in a finals field and big pressure. He's just out back in the backyard shooting some arrows. But with these windy conditions, that means it's going to be really hard if a gust comes up or, conditions change with the wind. He's not going to be able to correct as quickly as someone with a coach or a spotting scope to know where those arrows are.
All right, this is our compound senior men gold medal match here at the U.S. Archery 2019 U.S. Open. Have to give a shout out to our other classes. You've seen this is our 6th class, but there were also para classes and master classes as well, 13 total. So 7 classes already wrapped up their gold medal matches. So congratulations to all the podium finishers, the winners. And Crystal, nearly 570 archers came out to compete in these 3 days of competition for USA Archery. Unbelievable.
It's just incredible. And this field we're shooting on here in Dublin, Ohio is incredible. Soccer fields, but we had bales stretched out almost 3/4 of a mile long. I mean, it was just incredible.
So Matt Sullivan again not finding the 10 ring just yet.
So can Louis capitalize on this here and really... You saw it on his face.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't even need to see the target there.
At this level, these archers have thrown so many arrows downrange. They know when it breaks, if it's in or not. There it is for Matt.
And there he found not just a 10, but an X. And again, you see that look at grimace.
Yep.
Gives the sight a couple clicks.
Oof. All right, so Louis Price just gave his sight a couple clicks. What do you mean?
So there's a little knob on it. He hit low on his first 2 arrows, so he must be able to see at least shadows to know that they were low. And this one should be, and it was higher, just too high.
Yeah, might have been an overcorrection or just he knew when it broke high. But, he's a younger man, so maybe, it's 50 meters, he can actually see down there. That boat sank for me a long time ago. See how I did that there? The ship sailed. I'm now changing it to the boat sank.
So great shot there of the arrows up close. Judge is going to call them. And again, cumulative scoring, 15 arrows total.
Now what's interesting is looking at Matt Sullivan's target. And there's a world champion pulling arrows for him. His teammate on the USA
undefeated on the international stage.
Yep.
Jimmy.
Yeah. So anyway, looking at his arrows, what I find very interesting is that the way Easton kind of, talks about their arrows, the X10 Pro Tour seemed to be more designed for the compound side of things, but we've seen more and more archers shooting the X10. You know, which
it really comes down to a spine. So what spine works the best coming out of your bow? The recurve, the typical X10 is going to be in 500 increments. So, you know, a 450, a 500, a 550, 600. Whereas the Pro Tours are going to be in slightly different increments of 470, 420, 520. So finding that right spine is crucial with a compound. You really want to be able to tune everything, dial it perfectly for your setup.
Yeah, because when it's as calm as you like it, as now Price is starting to relinquish his lead. Sullivan finding his rhythm and getting in there, and this is the danger of Matt Sullivan.
These conditions he thrives in. Steve Anderson put it perfectly earlier today. He just rails in this light wind tournament after tournament.
All right, so Price back on. You saw just for a moment him grab that bottom knob. So he grabbed another click. And oh, Matt, just high. And you can see the movement in his bow arm. And he sent a 9 for that one for Price. So far what we've seen is, we saw Price come, our number one qualifier, come out of the gate strong with a 29, and we thought, wait, what wind, right? Now, and then a 27 for him, and Sullivan started with a 27, now a 28, or at second end a 28. So it's kind of slow and steady for Matt Sullivan at the moment.
And we're all tied up now. So 2 ends to go, so 6 arrows left in the match. Anybody's game at this point.
So all three of these, these two shooters in the 3 ends that they've shot have shot the same scores equally. Each have shot a 29, each have shot a 27, each have shot a 28.
Yep.
Just done it in different orders.
Exactly.
So 2 ends to go, 6 arrows, tied at 84. The gold medal on the line for the 2019 US Open.
And they're tied, so Louis, who was the top seed, gets to go first.
If you had a choice, would you like to shoot first or second?
I always picked first. You want to put the pressure on, put a 10 down range, and make them match it.
Beautiful.
Nice X.
Just in that moment, the wind started to back off a little bit, and it keeps picking up and down as Matt Sullivan.
So we have a 1-point lead now for Louis.
You can just see the confidence on the release when it hits that 10 ring. You just kind of can feel it.
Yeah, looks much more solid this end than we've seen previous end. Oh my.
Wow.
Not what we expected to see out of Matt.
I have a feeling it's been years since Matt Sullivan shot a 7. I don't know the answers with an 8. So again,
so
we talked
something
about
happened
this.
there.
Yeah, the door was open to really kick it shut for Price. Ooh, see, that was an opportunity, I thought, for Sullivan to try to at least get within 2 points. You know, if he could have shot that 10, then that damage would have been a little less. Now, we're calling it an 8, so maybe it was a 7-8 liner. But this could be a 2-point swing.
But here's where the archers may not be feeling any wind on them, but we definitely saw some pickup of the flags downrange. So that could have carried both of those arrows.
So on the archer strings, there's a peep sight. They look through the peep sight, a little tiny hole, into, you know, the scope. How is it that you can pay attention when you're at full draw to what the conditions are doing, even when you have the benefit of having flags all over the place?
You really don't at full draw. You do it before you draw back the bow, as you're drawing back the bow, quick look. But once you're at full draw, you just have to commit to what you have already set as your aiming point. So 2-point lead right now for Louis with 3 arrows left.
So what we have officially is going to be 28 points for Price on that last end and 25 for Sullivan. So it's a 112 to 109 advantage in our final end of competition, our final 3 arrows. Gold medal and title of 2019 US Open champion on the line. There's nothing Matt Sullivan can do but just bury 3 of these in the 10 ring.
And we know he can do it.
Yep.
These guys shoot 30s after 30 after 30. But that's not how he wanted to open. good 10.
Yep. Price is putting himself in a position to just protect gold, meaning if we get to this final arrow and all he has to do is put it in the gold to win.
It's a great group, just not in the middle. Oh, so we gave some points back.
Oh, not a huge disaster at the moment.
No, but this is not, again, compound archery. We're used to seeing 10 after 10 after 10. So both the women's and the men's matches have been a bit surprising.
This is for the gold medal. And a 9.
That's all he needed.
That's all he needed. So we'll go down and get official scoring. And you can see the handshake as Matt Sullivan congratulating our gold medalist Price prematurely.
And you see, neither one's really celebrating. This wasn't a match they're going to walk away feeling too good about.
I think Tanya Jensen really said it the best. Usually there's nerves because you're shooting 10s, but in this case it was just hold that yellow. There were some great ones, but confirmation that Louis Price is the gold medalist, the winner here in Ohio, and he is going to hang out with PJ and give us his take on this spectacular gold medal match.
All right, Louis, that was an unusual match for compound senior men. Tell me about it.
Oh my gosh, the wind is crazy right now. The practice, I barely even practiced before the match because it was like gonna just get in my head and make me do worse. So I was just like, me and Matt both just stopped practicing, and I actually went and grabbed my button out of the car because I wasn't sure if I'm gonna need it or not. So, but I didn't use it, so it was crazy.
Well, tell me how you stay in that, because you came out of the gates with a 28 or 29, I forget what it was, but then it kind of fell out. When was the last time you even shot an 8?
I didn't shoot an 8. Actually, I shot an 8 in eliminations, I think, once today. Other than that, the weekend has been really good to me, so I didn't shoot too many. But what we were thinking is just we're going to go out there and just give it our all, because you never know what the wind's going to bring us. It could gust us right off the target and we miss, hit each other's target, whatever. But so, yeah, it was nuts.
Last arrow, tell me what you're feeling, because you knew what you needed to win. How did that feel?
Well, I was disappointed with the 8. Didn't feel that bad. It went off a little right, but I didn't know why it hit low. So the last one I was just like, okay, just make a good shot and go from there. And that's what I did, I guess.
All right, Louis, well, congratulations. National champ yesterday, U.S. Open champ today.
That's awesome. It feels good.
Well, Crystal Govin, quite a tournament. We saw a lot of double gold medalists here this weekend at the 135th U.S. National Target Championships that led into today's elimination matches for the 2019 U.S. Open. Your thoughts?
Great tournament. Couldn't ask for anything nicer. Between the venue, the organizers running it, the scoring system, everything just worked and flowed flawlessly this week.
Outstanding by Dublin, Ohio for welcoming us here, and the weather held off. It was fantastic. Well, for the entire Competition Archery Media crew and Crystal Govin, I'm Greg White. Thanks for joining our coverage of the 2019 U.S. Open.
Get in the red zone. Carbon Express's small diameter Maxima Red SD, taking big game hunting to an all-new level, making other competitors' single spine arrows obsolete. Patented tri-spine technology controls arrow flight, delivering better downrange energy and accuracy, all in a small diameter shaft. Think you're shooting the best hunting arrow in the game? Think again. Stay in the red zone. Assume nothing and shoot Carbon Express.
We don't build these bows to be different. We build them to be better. We're the outsiders, the mavericks, the fearless. We forge our own path. We're not chasing anyone, but we know what they're running from. It's an obsession, and the obsessed never rest.
Vince Lombardi once said, winning is not a sometime thing. It's an all-time thing. You don't do things right once in a while. You do them right all the time. Winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing. I've learned in my career I'm only as good as the tools I use.
12 for Levi Morgan.
One chance, one moment, one shot.
USA Archery's 2019 U.S. Open is brought to you by Win and Win. Winning in action, winning in spirit.